Quelle belle soirée! Distingués invités, distinguished guests. C'est avec honneur, fierté et humilité que j'entreprends mon mandat à la présidence de notre association. I am delighted to speak in front of this amazing group of leaders of the Canadian legal community here tonight. Pour plus d'un siècle, notre association a été la voix de la communauté juridique ici et à l'étranger. The defender of the rule of law and judicial independence. A strong and progressive actor in the promotion of human rights, like equality for women, protection from hate speech, and equal rights for members of the LGBTQ2S+ community. Ainsi qu'un défenseur d'une plus grande diversité au sein de la profession juridique, y compris au sein de la magistrature. Our association has been blessed by a great number of strong and inspiring leaders and hundreds of thousands of engaged members over its existence. J'aimerais ce soir prendre quelques minutes pour rendre hommage aux 3 personnes qui m'ont précédé à la présidence de notre association et que j'ai eu la chance de côtoyer. Stephen, you are the first public sector lawyer to become CBA President. Your work ethic, your attention to detail and finance, and your commitment and dedication to the mental health and wellness of our members will have a long-lasting positive impact on our association and my presidency. Thank you for handing over a very strong, stable, and efficient association. We have here in attendance Vivine Salmon. Where are you, Vivine? Welcome. I haven't had the time to say hi. Vivine, you've been president for the term 2019-2020. You are the first person of color to lead our association. That was a great moment. You are and you remain a role model for many of us, for racialized lawyers as well, aspiring to succeed despite the challenges of the practice. The report, No Turning Back, issued by the Task Force on Justice Issues Arising from COVID-19 that you led with Brad, has been consulted and cited by key stakeholders across the country and even abroad, and continues to be an inspiration for sustained improvements to the legal system. Thank you, Vivine, for your contributions to the success of our association. I'm very happy to see you here tonight. Vivine, you've been succeeded by Brad Regier from Manitoba that couldn't be with us tonight. Brad was a president for the term 2020-2021. Brad was the first Indigenous president to lead our association, which was also a great moment. With passion, humility, and humanity, he led our association through the worst of the pandemic, and it was a very difficult time for all of us and for our association. He helped us navigate professional and personal life in and out of lockdowns. His work to answer the calls to action of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission changed our association forever, and frankly, the country. He brought us The Path, a nationally recognized professional development program to educate lawyers on the history of Canada vis-à-vis Indigenous peoples and the importance of Indigenous legal issues. More importantly, he has been a strong and vocal advocate for the appointment of more Indigenous judges at every level of our courts system, including at the Supreme Court of Canada. So Brad has been heard. Sur un plan plus personnel, that's where I won't cry. Je ne serais pas ici ce soir si je n'avais pas bénéficié du soutien et de l'aide des conseils d'un grand nombre de personnes au cours de ma carrière et de ma vie personnelle. Beaucoup d'entre vous êtes ici aujourd'hui et je vous remercie de votre présence. Vous êtes trop nombreux pour que je puisse tous vous nommer, mais vous savez qui vous êtes et à quel point je vous suis reconnaissant. I would like first to thank my firm, McCarthy Tétrault, my professional home and second family for the last 21 years. When I joined this firm in 2001, I knew I would find amazing professional challenges, and the challenges found me pretty quickly, trust me. But what I did not expect is how much the values of this firm would change me personally. J'ai découvert une apaisante culture de respect, d'humilité, d'honnêteté intellectuelle. J'ai également découvert une culture d'inclusion, où la différence était valorisée et accueillie, où il y avait un sentiment d'appartenance, d'histoire et un devoir de partager ce que nous avons hérité et appris de ceux et celles qui nous sont précédés. Plusieurs de mes associés et dirigeants de notre cabinet sont ici ce soir et je veux vous remercier de votre présence et de votre soutien. And now I would like to share my personal priorities as president of our association. Our country is one of the strongest democracies in the world. We have a robust electoral system. We value pluralism. We respect civil liberties and have a stable, functioning government. Our laws are democratically adopted, and we have independent judges to protect our rights. But times are changing, and we must remain vigilant. My first priority this year is judicial independence. I see a future where judicial independence would be understood, protected, and valued. Je vois une société où les attaques gratuites contre nos magistrats seraient rares, mais aussi vivement dénoncées par tous les avocats. Je vois aussi une société où l'indépendance de la magistrature serait mieux comprise par nos concitoyens et serait élevée au rang de valeur fondamentale. While we have one of the best legal systems in the world, we see an increasing number of personal attacks against sitting judges, including most recently in this province. Judges need freedom and safety to decide cases on their merits and without fear of any repercussions. L'indépendance judiciaire est essentielle à la réalisation et au bon fonctionnement d'une société libre, juste et démocratique, fondée sur les principes du constitutionnalisme et de la primauté du droit. Judicial independence exists for the benefit of all citizens, not judges. It is a matter of trust. All Canadians should be confident that their legal disputes will be decided according to the law, in open court, by an impartial judge, free from any outside influence, including threats. Our Chief Justice, Richard Wagner, said in an interview last June while talking about our fellow citizens, if they lose faith in the justice system, what will happen? People will solve their problems on the street and it will be anarchy eventually, and we completely lose the calm, the serenity, the well-being of the citizens in these cases. There were worrying evidence in this province recently, across this country and on the other side of our southern border as well, that tells me that we must remain vigilant. As the leaders of Canada's legal community, we can't remain silent. We must stand up for this extremely important principle and defend judicial independence every time it is under attack. J'aimerais faire écho à l'appel à l'action lancé par notre juge en chef en juin dernier. And as soon as an incident occurs that can attack judicial independence, we must react, we must denounce. Dans cette veine, je veux féliciter ma collègue, Maître Martine Burel. Où es-tu, Martine? Voilà, Martine. Présidente de la Division du Québec de l'ABC, pour son excellente lettre d'opinion publiée samedi dernier dans Le Devoir. Vous y écrivez, Maître Burel. Les attaques gratuites visant l'impartialité des tribunaux doivent cesser. Elles érodent la confiance du public et ont pour effet d'affaiblir notre système de justice dont le rôle est de faire respecter les droits et libertés de chacun d'entre nous. This is why I ask you to join me and Martine in denouncing in the strongest terms the attacks against judicial independence every time they occur, and also in taking every opportunity to educate the public on the reasons why judicial independence is so essential for our democratic society and the protection of individual rights. We have to do better to educate our fellow citizens on the importance of judicial independence, on the importance of defending it, and bringing it to a level where it is understood and cherished as one of the most important pillars of our democratic political system. Now, my second presidential priority is diversity. I see a future where the full diversity of our great country would be reflected in the legal community and on the bench as well. I believe that only two things should define our careers, and they are what's in our hearts, our value system, and what's in our heads, our knowledge and qualifications. I see a future where the color of our skin, our gender and its expression, our sexual orientation, our accessibility needs, or anything else would not matter. I see a future where we would focus on what we have in common and not what makes us different. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. Notre pays est un des plus diversifiés au monde. Notre diversité est notre force si nous voulons réussir économiquement dans un monde de plus en plus compétitif. Il y a déjà d'excellentes initiatives partout au Canada pour accroître la diversité dans notre communauté juridique, et je suis confiant que nous allons dans la bonne direction. However, the diversity of our population is still not sufficiently reflected in our judicial system and our legal community. Every citizen must see themselves represented at every level of the legal system. Overrepresentation of one group as well as underrepresentation of other groups will undoubtedly lead to an erosion of trust. Bien que des progrès significatifs aient été réalisés récemment, la diversité au sein de la communauté juridique reste un défi. There is more and more research demonstrating that diverse teams make better decisions. I believe strongly that more diversity in the legal system would improve access to justice. Yes, diversity can improve access to justice by allowing more creative ideas and solutions to be implemented. Il a été prouvé à maintes reprises que les entreprises dont le personnel et la direction sont plus diversifiés sont plus performantes que leurs concurrentes et obtiennent de meilleurs résultats. As a proud member of the LGBTQ2S+ community, I also want to address the inequalities and discrimination experienced by the members of my community, and more specifically by non-binary and trans people in Canada. En tant que fier membre de la communauté LGBTQ2S+, je souhaite également aborder les inégalités et la discrimination dont sont victimes les membres de ma communauté et plus particulièrement les personnes non-binaires et trans au Canada. Our country is the first country to provide census data on transgender and non-binary people. According to the last census conducted last year in 2021, more than 100,000 people are transgender and non-binary in this country. It's 100,000 people, and it's a conservative number in my opinion. En d'autres termes, au moins une personne sur 300 au Canada s'identifie comme une personne trans ou non-binaire. Even more importantly, the proportion of transgender and non-binary people were 3 to 7 times higher for Generation Z and millennials than for previous generations. Alors, si vous avez l'impression qu'il y a de plus en plus de personnes trans et non-binaires dans la jeune génération, eh bien, vous avez raison. So much that almost 1% of young adults aged 20 to 24 were non-binary or transgender, according to the 2021 census, 1% of people 20 to 24. Presque 1% des personnes âgées de 20 à 24 ans se définissent comme des personnes trans ou non-binaires, selon les données du recensement 2021. Now, how are trans and non-binary people doing in Canada? They're not doing well at all. Comment vont les personnes trans et non-binaires au Canada? Elles ne vont pas bien du tout. A few statistics from the Canadian Trans Youth Health Survey conducted by the University of British Columbia in 2015, the first and largest of its kind. It's about 1,000 people that were surveyed. 70% of the surveyed people reported being victim of sexual harassment. More than 1 in 3 younger participants had been physically threatened or injured in the previous year. 1 in 3 injured in the previous year. And nearly half of older youth reported various types of cyberbullying. 70% also reported their family did not understand them. And about 1 in 3 did not have a single adult in their family that they could talk to about problems. Mental health issues was a key concern. Within the last 12 months, so 12 months before the survey was conducted, 65% of younger youth had seriously considered suicide. 65% 1 year considered suicide. More than a third had attempted suicide at least once, and nearly 1 in 10 had attempted suicide 4 or more times. These are dire statistics that we don't talk about enough. According to another study published last month by the Social Research and Demonstration Corporation, SRDC, so it's last month, very recent, sponsored by Pride at Work Canada, poverty and homelessness remain pressing issues for LGBTQ2S+ individuals, with existing research pointing to particularly dire outcomes for transgender individuals. All sexual minority respondent groups had significantly lower median annual earnings compared with heterosexual men. So if we think that everything is settled, it is not the case. We still have a long road ahead. The data undeniably shows that trans and non-binary people are neglected, misunderstood, underrepresented, and left behind. I heard some of them, and some of them are here tonight, tell me that they think that some people don't want them to even exist. Les données démontrent indéniablement que les personnes trans et non-binaires sont négligées, incomprises, sous-représentées et laissées pour compte. Certaines d'entre elles m'ont dit qu'elles avaient l'impression qu'on ne voulait même pas qu'elles existent. I believe that as leaders of the Canadian legal community, we have a duty, a sacred duty, to defend and protect the rights of the most disadvantaged people in our society. The same report, and it's a ray of light from the SRDC, also says that inclusive leadership is a protective factor against experiences of discrimination on the job. Les personnes interrogées ont parlé des effets positifs de la collaboration avec des alliés et des collègues ouverts et affirmatifs, ainsi que du sentiment de communauté sur le lieu de travail. At our first meeting tomorrow morning, and as a tangible and immediate measure, I will ask our National Board of Directors to approve the creation of an advisory group on inclusion and access to justice for trans, non-binary, and gender-diverse people, including Two-Spirit people. I take this with a lot of humility because I'm not part of this community, so I personally have a lot to learn. So this committee will advise me, my successor, John, that will be president next year, and his successors, and the board for the next 3 years on the initiatives, programs, and policies our association should be putting together to address the compelling issues faced by the member of the trans and non-binary community in Canada. Nous sommes la voix de la profession juridique et nous serons une fois de plus à l'avant-garde. But I need your help, and I need you to join me in this journey. So here is what I ask of you. I am calling on each of you to continue to be or to become an ally of the trans and non-binary community. By reaching out, engaging, and learning from trans and non-binary people in your organization, and I'm sure there is someone, and if there's no one, reach out to me, and community-based organizations in your city. en étant un allié et en initiant des formations et des changements de politique dans votre organisation pour améliorer l'expérience des personnes trans et non-binaires. And also by engaging with our association during my term and listening to my podcast, Conversations with the President. It is free, entertaining, and I promise that you will learn a lot. I know that if we harness the power of our 37,000 members and the goodwill of the leaders in this room, we can not only solve these important issues, but we can also benefit from the incredible opportunities that come from a fully engaged and inclusive society. I am looking forward to meeting you all in the coming year and to hear on your priority and your vision of what our association should be, where our association should be heading. Je vous remercie d'être présent avec nous ce soir en personne. I'm looking forward to serving you in the coming year. Bonne soirée. Have a good evening.